What if evil wasn't just a human choice? You know that moment when you wonder where all the bad things in the world come from? Why does suffering exist? Why is there pain? The answer might be hidden in sacred texts that most people have never read carefully. And here's what's fascinating. 3 of the most influential religions in history have completely different explanations about the origin of evil. Christianity, Judaism, and Zoroastrianism look at this mystery in unique ways. And once you understand these differences, your view of good and evil will never be the same. Let's start with something that might surprise you. For Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest religions, evil is not a consequence of human choice. It already existed before us. In this Persian tradition, founded by the prophet Zarathustra over 3,000 years ago, there's a cosmic battle happening right now. On one side, Ahura Mazda, the supreme god of light, truth, and creation. On the other, Ahura Mazda, also called Ahriman, the destructive personification of darkness and lies. This isn't a symbolic fight. For Zoroastrians, evil is a real force, independent, eternal. Ahriman was not created by Ahura Mazda. He has always existed. And here's the crucial point. You watching right now, are part of this battle. Every thought, every word, every action you take feeds one side. Zoroastrianism teaches that we are warriors in this spiritual war, and your choice matters for the destiny of the entire universe. Stop now and reflect on your last 24 hours. How many times did you choose truth over lies? How many times did you act with kindness even when nobody was watching? In Zoroastrianism, these choices aren't small. They determine whether light or darkness gains ground right this moment. This religion places enormous responsibility on your shoulders. You're not just a victim of evil, you're a soldier against it. And there's more. Unlike other traditions that promise good will always win automatically, Zoroastrianism says victory depends on us. Without our active, conscious, daily participation, evil can win. This changes everything. It means your life isn't a passive test, but an active mission. If this perspective moved you, leave your like right now. And in the comments, write the word light to tell me you understood the power of this message. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button because we're going to dive much deeper. Why does Judaism have such a different view about evil? Now, let's move to a completely different perspective. If Zoroastrianism sees evil as an eternal and independent force, traditional Judaism presents something that might shock many people. Evil has no power of its own. It's not an autonomous entity fighting against God. In fact, everything that exists, including the possibility of evil, comes from a single source, the one and absolute God. That's right, you heard correctly. In classical Jewish thought, there is no rival to God. There's no anti-God with equivalent power, creating chaos and destruction. The book of Isaiah makes this explicit when it says that God forms light and creates darkness, makes peace and creates evil. This statement is radical. It means that evil is not a cosmic accident or a successful rebellion. It's part of the divine design. But wait. Before you close this video thinking this doesn't make sense, let me explain what this really means. For Judaism, evil exists as possibility, as a test, as contrast. Think about it this way. How would you know what light is if there was never darkness? How would you value goodness if there was no evil? Evil, in this view, is a pedagogical tool, an instrument of spiritual growth. Here comes a powerful concept called Yetzer Hara, which means inclination toward evil. Every human being is born with it. But pay attention. This inclination is not the devil whispering in your ear. It's something internal, part of your human nature. It's your impulses, your selfish desires, your will to put your interests above everything else. And you know what's most interesting? Judaism says that without the Yetzer Hara, you wouldn't build a house, you wouldn't form a family, you wouldn't work. Because it's this force that drives you to act, to conquer, to survive. So do this exercise right now. Think of some important achievement in your life. Finishing a project, building something, reaching a goal. Now be honest. What motivated you wasn't just altruistic love, right? There was ambition there. There was pride. There was a desire to stand out. That's the Yetzer Hara working. And Judaism teaches you that the secret isn't to destroy this force, but to channel it toward good. The difference between a righteous person and an evil person isn't the absence of negative impulses. It's what you do with them. Did you like this perspective? Leave your like and comment the word balance if you understood that evil can be transformed into good. Subscribe to continue this journey. How Christianity transformed the understanding about the origin of evil. Now, we arrive at Christianity. And here, the story of evil gains completely new layers. If Zoroastrianism speaks of an eternal battle and Judaism speaks of internal impulses, Christianity brings something different. A narrative of fall, rebellion, and redemption that has shaped Western thought for 2,000 years. For Christianity, evil begins with a cosmic rebellion. Lucifer, the brightest angel, the light bearer, rebels against God out of pride. He wants to be equal to the Creator. This revolt doesn't happen on earth, but in celestial dimensions, even before the creation of humanity. And when Lucifer falls, he becomes Satan, the adversary, the accuser. And he doesn't fall alone. A third of the angels accompany him in this fall. Here's the crucial point. Evil, in Christianity, is not eternal like in Zoroastrianism. Satan didn't always exist. He was created good by God and chose to rebel. Evil is born from a free choice, not from a pre-existing essence. And this choice has devastating cosmic consequences. Then comes the second act of this tragedy, the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve, created perfect and in communion with God, are tempted by the serpent. And here Christianity introduces something profound: original sin. When the first human couple disobeys, evil doesn't just enter them, it contaminates all of humanity. Every child born already carries this mark, this separation from God, this inclination toward error. Think about how different this is from what we've seen before. In Zoroastrianism, you're a warrior in battle. In Judaism, you have impulses to channel. In Christianity, you're born with a spiritual wound you cannot heal alone. You need external salvation. But here's the twist that defines all Christian faith. God doesn't abandon humanity in this condition. He enters history as Jesus Christ. The Creator himself becomes creature to defeat evil from within. The cross isn't just a symbol of suffering. It's the point where evil is confronted and definitively defeated, where Satan loses his authority over those who choose to follow Christ. Now reflect. Have you ever wondered why you feel an emptiness that nothing seems to fill? Christianity would say, it's because you were created for communion with God, and until that connection is restored, something will always be missing. If this makes sense to you, leave your like. Comment the word redemption if you felt the weight of this message, and subscribe to the channel because there's still much more to unveil. What if these 3 views reveal complementary truths about your life? So let me recap what we've discovered so far. Zoroastrianism places you as a warrior in a cosmic battle, where every choice you make feeds either light or darkness. Judaism shows you that evil is not an external force, but internal impulses that you can transform into growth. And Christianity reveals a story of fall, rebellion, and the need for redemption that you cannot achieve on your own. 3 religions, 3 radically different explanations. But here's something few people realize. Maybe all of them are speaking about real aspects of your experience with evil. Think with me. Haven't you already felt that there's a bigger fight happening in the world? Something beyond what you see? That's the Zoroastrian battle. Haven't you already noticed that your own desires and impulses are your greatest challenge? That's the Jewish Yetzer Hara. And haven't you already felt that you carry wounds and destructive patterns that you can't break alone? That's the Christian recognition of the need for salvation. What these ancient traditions are telling you is that evil is not simple. It operates on multiple dimensions. There's a cosmic dimension, where forces greater than us dispute the destiny of the universe. There's a psychological dimension, where our own nature challenges us daily. And there's a spiritual dimension, where our separation from the sacred leaves us vulnerable and incomplete. Now comes the question that really matters. What do you do with this knowledge? Because understanding the origin of evil is not a distant philosophical exercise. It's urgent. It's personal. It's about the choices you're making right now. Are you being passive in the face of evil in the world, as if you couldn't make a difference? Are you letting your negative impulses control you instead of channeling them? Are you trying to live without recognizing your limitations and your need for something greater than yourself? These questions cross cultures, eras, and religions because they touch the heart of human experience. Evil exists. You feel it. The question is, how are you going to respond to it? With awareness, with action, with humility, with courage? If this video opened your eyes to something new, leave your like right now. Comment the word awakening if you're ready to see these truths more deeply. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because we're going to continue unveiling the mysteries that religions hold. And share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. The journey is just beginning.